Rhonda Maynard, outstanding job. Great job with our kids. Denise White works with our younger people. She's a big part of them coming up through this also. Thank you, Ms. White. Back to the video for us today. And someone who's put a tremendous amount of time into making sure the screen works, projector works, all these things are going well. Put in a tremendous amount of time. Mark Richardson, thank you very, very much. All right. Miss Dorothy, you still there with us? All right. That's hard to follow, isn't it? Yeah. Like I said, through this process, I'm not just saying this because we're where we are today, but many, many, many times when I spoke to people, they've talked about, when are you going to bring back home ec? We used to have Dorothy Jameson here, and she taught us how to cook, she taught us how to quilt, she taught us how to do the bed corner. Someone even mentioned that somewhere, and how to properly make a bed. All these things that are important in life and moving on, and her name came up all the time. So Dorothy, I know your article in the paper said, why me? Well, I'll tell you why you. Because you made a difference in a tremendous amount of young people over the years, and we're thanking you for that. And thank you so much for everything that you've done. And she's still as sharp as a tack, sit around and can tell you stories as long as you want to sit there and listen. And I really enjoyed that time sitting out there with her. But at this time, her son, Dr. John Jameson, will come up and make some comments before Dorothy comes to speak.
Good afternoon. I think that the time frame came up earlier, about 2 years ago. I get this weird phone call from Mike Martin and Brent G. And they said, we need to meet with you. I said, okay. Meet us at the auditorium. Okay. So we came in, and I had a chance to witness again the disheveled-looking appearance of the facility that was here, just like it was in 1966 when I graduated, or worse. And so we had a chance to visit. So we're walking over here from the superintendent's office, and then we're walking back. And this is pretty much the history of how this began. And they said to me, well, we would like to have a new auditorium. I think that would be great. How did you raise the money to do this? Asking me. They said, we know you've done some fundraising and things like this at the university level. What would you do to make it happen? And I said, well, have we thought about a bond issue? Oh no, we can't do that right now. We have other plans for that. And I said, well then private donations are the best way to do it. Now of course, thinking in the back of my mind, I don't have Boone Pickens to back me up. And so we have to look then at what we were able to do. And I said, well, we'll begin with private donations. Well, then they say to me, who would you recommend? Well, I had some folks that I could make phone calls to. And yes, and we had some meetings here in town. And some very generous people stepped right up front. Some of you are here today, and I want to say thank you. And then we think about where we could go. So we were able to raise so much money, and then we leveled off. And so Mike calls me again. What do we do? And I said, well, I think what I would do is, how many Chickasaw young people are here in the school system? Well, I don't know exactly. I said, well, I think I'd find out. So a week later, he calls me back. He goes, you wouldn't believe it. I said, yeah, I would. We need to go see Governor Anatoly. And so, this is how it all began, Governor. So we sat down and we planned to go there. So Mike and I were going to go to the meeting. And Mike says, oh, by the way, we're taking Nemo. Yes! Yes! We know we have these weak spots with Nemo. So, we did. We picked her up, and she had been to the doctor in the morning. She was not feeling well, remember, Honoree, that day? But she was on her A game. And Governor Anatoly experienced that A game within the first 5 minutes. And so, we had a chance to visit with him, and the generosity of the Chickasaw Nation came forward. And And he found out how much money we were able to raise. We were doing it through private donations. And the quote was, "We'll pick up the difference." Thank you. Of course, Irene is sitting there telling him about mother teaching her daughters, okay? And that went real well. And then the fact that she also taught Dean and me when we switched out from VOAG to home ec. And that was always an experience for her, to learn how to sew on buttons and how to thread a needle. And that took a week, okay? We were the slow group, but it happened. Anyway, so as time has gone through with this process, with the benefit of a great architectural firm, with the benefits of generosity of you people, whether it was your time, your emotion, or your financial help, and the Chickasaw Nation, we were able to make this happen. And so on behalf of the Jameson family and the Quaid family, Mom's step family, we want to thank you for the honor of her name being on this facility.